Is the real estate market cooling off? We'll address that today in your July 2021 market update. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. My name is Chris Elliott with RE/MAX Action Real Estate and the Elliott Real Estate team with your July 2021 market update. Before we get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our channel to make sure you get all of our weekly update videos as well as other content. Go ahead, also smash that like button for this video. So we appreciate you doing that. So the big story that we're looking at right now is the real estate market has already begun to start to cool off. It's not something, question of whether it is already starting to happen a little bit. First thing I'll show you, Ivy Zelman in her June broker update. Ivy Zelman is a well-respected real estate economist, shows that the housing demand index dropped from a rating of 88 to 86, which is the first sequential time that's happened since November. I'm not exactly how they come up with that numbers, but basically the interest in housing has dropped about 2 points from last month, from May to June. The home purchase sentiment index, basically whether or not buyers feel like it's a good time to buy a home, was down to 35% in the month of May. Essentially only 35% of active buyers, or only 35% of people felt like in May it was a good time to buy a home, just given the craziness of the market. The showing time index, which is essentially, showing time is a platform that tracks the showings on listings, that actually dropped in the month of May. So the number of showings went down for the first time since the beginning of this year. We don't have the numbers for June quite yet. We're also seeing inventory levels start to rise. So month over month increase from May to June. We saw an 11% increase in inventory in the state of Virginia. You'll see that most states throughout the union are seeing an increase in inventory. So what does this all mean? Is the bottom falling out of the market? Are prices going to drop? All of that, I would say no. We're just starting to take a little bit of a step back from the frenziness in the market. What I've been telling clients, we're going from a white hot market to a red hot market. We're going from going about 120 miles an hour, slowing down to about 90 miles an hour. So if you look at the graphic, we are still very much in a deep seller's market. Even if the market continues to cool off, we are going to remain in a seller's market. It's still going to be a very great seller's market. Prices are scheduled to hold. Just the rate of appreciation, the rate at which homes are appreciating is scheduled to slow down just a little bit. So maybe not as good news for sellers, but definitely a good reprieve for buyers that have been in the market searching, that have been frustrated, getting beat out on multiple offers, not having homes to choose from. It should, market conditions should improve a little bit for buyers out there. And let's talk about the realities of buyer fatigue. We've seen record high price appreciation. We've had extremely low inventory. Buyers have not really had many homes to choose from. Record percentage over list price. So basically, I think in Metro Richmond in the month of June, property sold for about 105% of asking price, meaning on average, buyers are having to offer 5% over asking price just to get homes under contract. And we're seeing record low days on the market, which is extremely frustrating for a lot of buyers. You're having to race out to properties as soon as they hit the market. So once again, like we talked about, we're still going to be very much in the seller's market, but we're going to see a little bit of a reprieve for our buyer clients. And honestly, we still think it's a great time to buy, and we think now is going to be a better time to buy than later. If we look at this, mortgage rates are projected to continue to rise, not drastically, but they will continue to rise over the next couple of years. Homes are scheduled to continue to appreciate. The rate of appreciation, like we talked about, is scheduled to slow down. So we're going to see anywhere from 8 to 10% in 2021, scheduled to see about 5% in 2022, and then in 2023 and beyond, we're going to return to more historical levels of appreciation of about 2 to 3% per year. And a cool little example is if you bought a median price home, so median price both in the state of Virginia and also throughout the country is about $350,000 right now. If you bought that $350,000 property in the next 5 years, based on the appreciation tables that we're looking at, you should gain about $90,000, $93,000 in equity, $93,000 in net worth that should be added to your net worth statement just by owning a median price home. So that is the power of home ownership right there, and a pretty cool example if you ask me. All right, so what does this all mean to you? For our buyer clients, Stay in the hunt or get back in the hunt. If you are somebody that has grown frustrated with the process, now is definitely not the time to throw in the towel, because like I said, we are going to see a little bit of a reprieve in the market, and it's a good time, or if you've sidelined yourself, you kind of stepped out of the market, it's a great time to jump back in, just because we are going to see a little bit more inventory. We're not going to see the craziness on offers that we've seen before, and you should be able to buy a home at a little bit more of a reasonable price. And like we talked about, now is definitely going to be a better time than later, with interest rates scheduled to continue to rise, with home prices scheduled to continue to rise. If you continue to wait, it's just going to get that much more expensive, both in the mortgage rate that you have to pay on your mortgage, and then also the home price that you ultimately have to buy a home for. And like we've talked about, just understand the market is still and will continue to be competitive. So we're not going to see prices come down. We're not going to see the tide totally turn. Still going to be a seller's market, just not going to be as crazy as it has been since the beginning of this year. For sellers, don't be too unrealistic. To be honest with you, for a while there, our seller clients were able to get away with pretty much anything they wanted to. It was kind of like name your price, name your terms. You had to give your firstborn away to get a home under contract. We're seeing that the market pull back a little bit, so you've got to be a little bit less unrealistic when you're putting your home on the market, or a little bit more realistic. It's probably a better way to say that. Just understanding that we are not in the frenzy that we were just a couple months ago. Pay close attention to the feedback. So we're seeing where some sellers are having to make price reductions. We're seeing where some sellers are having to negotiate a little bit more. So don't just assume you can slap your home on the market and it's going to sell. You've really got to be cognizant of that feedback. If you're getting feedback from the marketplace, from prospective buyers, from prospective agents, that maybe the condition of your home isn't where it needs to be, or the price is too high, or things of that nature, you're asking for terms that are unrealistic, or buyers simply aren't willing to offer. So that's that. And then last but not least, understand that price appreciation will moderate as mortgage rates and inventory levels rise. So we're not going to see prices to continue to appreciate the rate at which they've been appreciating. So if you heard stories from your friends, family, neighbors, whatnot, that sold their home earlier this year, and they marked it up $10, $15, $20, $50,000 above the last sale, just realize that that's going to start going away. It's already started to go away. It will continue to go away as inventory levels rise and as the market starts to cool down a little bit. So hope that makes sense. If you have questions, if you have concerns, throw them in the comments. If you disagree with me, throw it in the comments. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope you found that was helpful. Look forward to seeing you next month. Hope you have a good one.